Hello everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of What's for Dinner. Today I'm going to be making a crispy chicken parmesan. Believe it or not, this is a very simple recipe, even though I will be breading some chicken in this episode. Many of you know my thoughts on breading. I find that whenever I try to bread something, it ends up not really working out how I see it done by the professionals on YouTube. But I'm going to, again, attempt it today. This is, like I said, a rather simple chicken parmesan recipe. I will be using the cast iron skillet, which you can see behind me on the stove, but first we have to actually bread the chicken. So, I'm going to cut open this package of chicken breasts. You only need 2. You're going to cut them in half, and then we're going to work with those halves to start. So I have 2 rather large chicken breasts here. I'm going to cut them in half, the long way. How would I do this? This is something else I still haven't gotten the hang at, is cutting chicken breasts in half. Well, now you're not going to flatten them. You're just going to keep them the size that they are when you cut them in half. There we go. So that's one. You also may notice I have completely covered my counter in plastic to just kind of make the prep a little bit easier and make cleanup easier also. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. All right, and now you have 4 smaller chicken breasts. Then what you want to do is I'm going to get rid of this. You don't need a knife anymore. Then you want to salt and pepper and onion powder both sides of each of these 4. Right, so I've got my salt, pepper, and an onion powder. Pat that down a bit, flip them over, do the other side. Now comes the fun part, the breading. Give me one moment, I gotta get the cast iron set up. Alright, so I'm gonna start getting the cast iron ready here. I'm gonna pour some oil, this is vegetable oil, into this. You want a good amount, enough that the chicken breasts are able to fry in it. So I've coated it, covered it. I'm gonna turn that on, get that cooking. And then what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to take this one and we're going to flour, egg, and breadcrumb. Now, the recipe calls for a cup each of flour and seasoned breadcrumbs and 2 eggs. I've used, because another reason I don't like breading is because of a lot of waste that tends to happen with breading. I've only done half a cup of each of the breadcrumbs and the flour. The eggs are rather small, so I do have 2 eggs, and I will be using 2 eggs. But I am hoping that this flour and breadcrumb will be enough for this. So we're going to flour, we're going to egg, we're going to breadcrumb. I'm going to set it off to the side right here. The other thing I don't like is that my hands always tend to get very dirty and I get a lot of stuff on it that could be on the chicken. So now I have to clean my hands off. And we repeat the process again 3 more times. So why don't I just time-lapse that for you? Alright, I switched camera angles. I do hope that I'm in the frame right now. I believe the oil is ready. I'm smelling it a bit, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a plate and a pair of tongs. I'm going to bring over these one at a time, and then we're going to fry them in here till they're nice and golden brown, and then we're going to set them up just like a chicken parmesan with marinara sauce and cheese, and then we put them in the oven. Alright, so here we go. Alright. Let's see how this works here. Oh, that's pretty. Do one more. That's very pretty. You can really smell the breadcrumbs. They're seasoned Italian style, so it's still a big mess over here, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this up right now. Alright, I'm going to flip this one. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Flip this one. Okay, these 2 are almost done. What I have not done yet, and probably should do, is start to preheat the oven to 450 degrees so that these things can bake when it's time for them to bake. I'm going to take these out here in a moment. I got another plate right here. I got 2 more to make. Once these are done, we're then going to put them into the pan that they will be put into the oven to bake at. I really wish you all could be here to smell these. They smell amazing. I am astounded at how awesome this particular breading has held up. Normally, it's absolutely atrocious, but this is by far one of my better attempts at breading something. All right, I'm going to go and transfer these out before the breading starts to fall off. Put them there. Now we'll get these next two on. Now we'll let these cook, and we'll be back, hopefully, to put them in a pan and get them set to go in the oven. All right, so I've removed them from the cast iron. They're right here on this plate, and they look astonishing. I mean, I am so impressed in how beautiful these look. All right, so I'm going to go and take them, put them into, well, hold on, I didn't grease this. I don't know if I have to grease this. Okay, well, I don't think I have to grease this pan, so I'm just going to go and set them in here. And this is a much larger pan than what I'm used to. Then you want 2 cups of a marinara sauce. I'm just going to take this whole jar and pour it over top of them. It's a 24-ounce jar of Prego. You can use any kind of flavor. I'm using 3 cheese. Just go ahead and pour it all in there. That's almost the whole jar. And then I have cut up some fresh mozzarella. We're going to put 2 of each of these top of each one of the pieces of chicken. Then we're going to sprinkle some Parmesan on top of each one. And then you bake it at 450 degrees for 15 minutes. I don't think my oven is quite ready yet, so I'm going to have to wait until it's ready. All right, my oven is now ready for the chicken. I'm going to go ahead and open it and then carefully put this in. Hot oven, very hot oven. All right, 15 minutes, 450. We'll be back shortly. All right, it's been about 15 minutes, and if you can't hear it, it is making some rather prominent noises, so I do believe it is done. I did look at it, and honestly, it looks absolutely amazing. I'm going to go ahead and take it out here. Oh my. Actually, first what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the oven off. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That looks awesome. I'm going to plate it up here in a moment, let it cool down a bit because it's been in there for quite a while. And once I plate it up, I will at least have it or try it on camera for you. I don't want to put this anywhere near my mouth right now because I know I'm going to get third-degree burns if I do. So I'm just going to let it sit here for a moment. Let it cool off. All right, I've let it cool a little bit. It still is rather hot, and the plate it's on is still rather hot. One of the other things you can add some fresh basil. I was unable to find fresh basil at the grocery store, so I got the lightly dried stuff. Sprinkle a little bit on, just gives it some extra flavor. Actually, I should put this down before I do that. And also add some nice color. Get the nice green color with it. All right, ooh, I'm really smelling that basil. Going back to that one recipe I made a couple years ago. All right, moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. That is some of the best chicken Parmesan I've ever had. Oh my gosh. It's so flavorful. I can't think of any other way to describe it. The mozzarella. Oh my. I don't know why I haven't cooked with fresh mozzarella before, but the taste is so much different from the shredded stuff or the sliced stuff that I buy. The fresh, it tastes so much better. I guess that's why they call it fresh. 10 out of 10. 12 out of 10. Can I do that? 12 out of 10? Give myself 120% out of 10? Yeah. Or out of 100, whatever. Anyway, outro time. Thank you all for watching this episode of What's for Dinner. If you have any suggestions for recipes that you would like to see me make on camera, leave them below in comments and I'll check them out. If you want to check this recipe out, I'll link Tasty's video of it on this side or in the card up here. You can go check it out there. Again, very simple recipe, and I gotta say, this is probably one of the better breading episodes that I've had on this channel. Again, thank you all for watching. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you all later. I can't stop eating this. I want more. I want so much more.